One of the divers, the family and the lawyers had paid for a private autopsy report because they wanted a certain level of independence.
Okay.
Right? That we don't trust the state. And we show you last week. Well, we've been showing, right? We didn't know who we could trust. We honestly do not know anymore which independent institutions we could trust. We don't know who we could trust. So the divers decide that they're gonna pay for their own, their own autopsy reports. And it comes back saying that there's a very large possibility that they were alive up to 39 hours after. So that's like 3 days and some hours. Corky, that is madness. I'm trying to find the article to read it for you. But Corky, that is madness. That is absolute madness. Corky, listen to me. It's one thing if you like you get shot in the head one time, boom, and you're gone through. And, I personally am not necessarily afraid to die, right? But you see the suffering. I am so claustrophobic. If I in a small room is real pain, could you imagine being on a 36-inch pipe with a broken leg? You don't know if they have internal bleeding. You have it's black, right? Because remember the survivor. Even the survivor, when he told the story, could you imagine that slow death? If you are a family member, and this whole issue is a trigger warning, right? It's just a constant trigger warning because it's a catch-22. You wanna not discuss it because you don't discuss it. That's how I deal with death. I just kind of pretend I just I deal with things like that. I just kind of toughen it up and move along. I don't know if that's healthy or not. I just pretend they're on a vacation forever. Because so many people, we don't talk to them in so long. So I just kind of go, well, I ain't talked to them in so long, and that's somehow how I deal with it now. Right. But then if we let the issue die, Corky, we run the risk of justice not being served. We run the risk of these people getting away. I don't want to say murder because, I try to be responsible and whatever. Yeah. But it's certainly... Anyway, let me call Angie one time, Okay. Because... Corky, I don't know,
You don't know what?
I don't know. I'm a bit exhausted, Corky. You don't find the nonsense that going on. It's as if I'm just trying to wear us down, Corky. Yeah. Because I am tired of how it's every day I go be angry, boy. It's every day. It's every day I go come here. Well, it's every Friday for me. But oh my gosh. And shout and scream and plead and beg and it's exhausting. Yes. When this autopsy report, it's everything, Corky. It's everything. The scandals come in hourly now. It's not even coming where we could take a break. You're calling Miss Angie Benjamin.
Oh, Miss Angie Benjamin?
Yes. Right? And she is an alderman. Is she on the line? Oh, I should put on my stuff. Yes. Yeah. Hello, Angie.
Hi, Marsha, the girl who sets Fridays on fire.
Well, Angie, I just finished telling Corky, I am so tired. I am so tired.
No. I know. You people like you don't get tired.
Oh, Lord,
people
but
you don't get tired.
We do. Because this government, Angie, we cannot keep up with the scandals. We cannot keep up with the downright evilness in this government. When you think we thought they couldn't sink any lower Then something else comes out and they've stooped lower when you thought, nah, you can't even be human to be that evil. Then you find out something else.
I don't know
And it's
if
just,
I want to say it so lightly, yeah? I have never seen one human being, and I'm saying one because the ultimate responsibility lies at the top, the way I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen one human being in my entire life, and I'll be honest am I live on radio?
You are live on radio.
Right. I'll be honest. I'm in my 50s. I've never seen one human being do so many bad things and everybody just like turning a blind eye. People talking, people
that makes it
shouting,
even more exhausting, Angie. I just told Corky, I mean, every week, I am disappointed, Angie, at my social media feed. I'm very disappointed at my social media feed because I am still seeing Will Smith and all kind of stuff. I thought I would have turned on my social media feed and seen an absolute outrage after the autopsy report came back, Angie. I'm very disappointed, I would be honest. So, Angie, I need your fire tonight. Because I know you have real fire for especially for these divers.
Well, let me tell you something. When it comes to the divers thing, right? And I'll be honest with you. We knew about all that Jared spoke about on Monday when we got Rishi Nagisa, right?
Yes.
We knew about the second autopsy after Rishi's wife had that done too, right? Through LMC.
Yes.
But none of us could have said anything, hence the reason I continue to be angry.
Yeah.
I continue to say, as a nation, and I'm not going to apologize for this, I'm being honest. As a nation, as women in this country too, who have sons and husbands, we failed those bloody divers. Saturday morning when I was calling out on my live stream, begging people to come down Point of Pierre, we need to pressure it. We need to pressure the system. All day Saturday in every live stream I beg people, call out Mr. Mustaq Mohammed, call out Mr. Colin Piper. Come down here, let us show them that this nation means, the people mean business.
Yeah.
People weren't coming. So let me tell you something. It's
And
not
just
about Faria.
No, I feel
us.
you. Yeah, I definitely
It's
feel
about
you.
us. And I'm not going to tell nobody, sorry, I apologize for saying that. It is about us.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. I had, when it happened, I was Friday, right? We had Friday night. And I remember the Friday after coming and giving stories about Boeing, the two planes that had gone down, and how the people came out and forced the hands of justice. Because the truth is, these big companies are about money. And I mean, when you watch, it's called Downfall. It's a movie, you know. It's easy. So it's not documentary style, you know. So it's fairly entertaining to watch, but you get all the information. And I encourage people, go and watch it, because I feel as though we can learn from others, Angie, right? And
Yes,
I said, you know, you look at you see it. They talk about the managers came out and the managers spoke about how they were being fired, they were being sidelined when they spoke about the cuts in terms of health and safety. You know, they were the designers of the planes were reporting, saying, you know, this cannot be, you can't do this, and they were sort of bypassing it because profits, you know, was all that mattered. And then now you see, okay, hundreds and hundreds of people died because of this negligence. And not just family members, but other persons looking on. And I mean, and this crash would have now been international, because you had obviously several citizens, you know, different countries, from different countries on the planes. And people decided, and when I saw your picture, actually, I think you held it on Monday Night Forum, they had the same kind of thing, these big pictures of the victims,
Marsha.
and they just did not move until until the case came to court, everything, you know.
Well, the truth is, the way I feel is now people keep saying about the politics, and I hear it out Trinidad, everything for them is politics.
Yeah.
This is not about politics,
Yeah.
right? If one of my PNM acquaintances, their son was done, I would have been doing the same bloody thing, and I'm a UNC.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to say that.
Yeah.
I told a PNM colleague of mine that sits next to me, if that was your child,
Yep.
I was there.
Yep.
Because this is not about red or yellow or orange
No,
or
it's
black
not.
or
It's
blue.
not. It's not.
This is about real four lives
Yeah.
that you are really, you can see where there was neglect. It is as plain as day. You can see where there was ignorance. It is as plain as day. And this is literally corporate murder. And I heard that term used by a group of UE students that came to a candlelight vigil. And we as a country, we as a people, if you know how, this is the first time in my life I think I'm feeling so disappointed in my people. My people meaning my Trinidad and Tobagonian people. And it's no race talk, because I just tell everybody, I live in Pointe-a-Pierre. On one side of me is African, on the next side of me is Afro-Trinidadian. I have a Tobagonian on one side and a Trini on one side. And I grew up in those people's home as a toddler. I am back in Pointe-a-Pierre now with my same neighbors, and we love them. We love their children. They would overnight by us. So when people start to talk race, I keep saying this. I don't understand our language. I genuinely do not.
Yeah.
And Dr. Rowley have to understand, he has to take responsibility. Mr. Minister of Energy, blatantly. He can't say nobody didn't tell him. He can't say he didn't know. He blatantly ignored the call.
Yeah. And to
I'm
remind
saying,
us
if I'm a
when they
manager-
remind us when it is that they cap the lines. Do you remember?
The
Because I know you were there from the
when
start.
we were there on Saturday, right? On Saturday, the divers of Faisal Kurban, the sons, told us they closed it off.
So
Those boys were they were in tears, because you know why? They knew all four divers were alive. They knew it.
So
They
at the
told us
time
we
that
believe
at the
them.
time that it was closed, the boys still knew, the witnesses, when I say the boys, not the
They
divers,
were there,
they
Marsha. They were
knew
there
that
in
they
that
were alive
car park.
still. Yeah.
They were in that car park begging. We were by the gate begging a security guard. There was a young lady in an office. I must have called her about 8:30 one night. It went to her cell phone. Actually, it was her cell phone. And the young lady, I don't even know her name, sounded like if she really didn't care. She's waiting on her instructions. I said, ma'am, do you realize that there are men underwater there with very little oxygen and will die? So the evilness that we feel in here did not just run through the board of directors, it went to management.
Well,
It
know,
wasn't just the board.
I have said that Keith Rowley is a cancer, right? During love him, hate him, whatever side you're on. A lot of people who didn't like Trump, they always used to say racism seemed to have been enabled, and you got a lot of racism in the States because it started from Trump. And those same people, now don't understand it, but it's the same kind of logic. If you have a leader, the leader sets the tone for everything. The leader sets the tone for the home. The leader sets the tone for the business. The leader sets the tone for everything. So when you have a leader who is so arrogant, so hateful, so uncaring, it is,
Listen,
he is a
Dr. Rowley don't care about
cancer.
his own people,
He is a
his own
cancer.
supporters. What do you think everybody else will get? He don't care about his own people. Let me tell you something. I've been in Diego Martin at least twice, sometimes more than twice, 3 times on estate. My husband had a business there, and we were employing those young men just to keep them out of crime, just to give them something so they have $1 in their pocket, and they don't have to go and rob somebody or do
Yeah.
any kind of petty crime. And that is what it was about. And if he don't care about his own bloody people, I don't think he cares about anybody. Because I sat down and I thought about it, and I said, wait a minute. I remember, and I'm not tooting nobody horn, but I'm going to talk a little thing here. Between 2010 and 2015 was when the partnership government was in place. I remember a conversation where someone was having with me, and they saying, Tiana, how come the Prime Minister fixing all them P&M area? We did not say that was Diego Martin, that was St. Anne's, that was Arriba. Never. And you know what I'm going to do for the next couple of weeks? I am going to research and pull all the projects we do, what month we do it in all those areas.
Yeah.
To show this country and the people.
I just had a meeting in Diego Martin. I just had a meeting in Diego Martin, and the young men, believe it or not, they called the projects. They knew it. They knew it. And one young man say, I don't understand. We got so much under Kamala, and our parents still wouldn't vote. Our parents, no, and this is the reality. They say, listen, miss, when we tell them, the parents will say, you ain't coming back up to their parents saying, but look at what we get. Look at what they do.
I believe as a country, we are not politically mature. I believe as people, we need to educate ourselves a little more, and I don't mean academically. I mean this. Understand the issue and look at the benefits.
Angie, I don't know if it's, there's something called battered wife syndrome. And they they actually have something called battered citizen syndrome, which is very similar to the battered wife syndrome, right? Where you fall in love with your abuser, you have that case. You have the case of you're holding on thinking you could be the one to change them. You're holding on for, but we had good days, and there's so many different psychological reasons. And it has to be, because obviously I shadow Diego Martin West. So I talk to these people all the time.
Publicly, my dear young lady, you are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you very much.
I have heard, I have seen, and as I told you, I am in Diego Martin. People may not understand, but I drive by myself and go all over this country just to get what's happening on the ground. And I have heard a lot about you, and I want to compliment you publicly. I know we're on radio, so I want to say that you are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so because even with some of our UNC soldiers, I'll say let's be a bit kind, because people say, well, they look for that. When I there outside looking for garbage, helping, trying somebody come collect the garbage, somebody this, somebody that, But there is something, there's some hurt, some trauma, something deep that we have to work out, because this kind of abuse is real. And even when I speak to some of our parliamentary colleagues, they all, if it's one thing you constantly hear, this particular administration, this particular Rowley, PNM was bad all the time. But it is just like, as I say, when it couldn't get worse, this man is just like the worst.
Well, the mantra that I repeat, Marsha, is evil. My husband taught me this. And those of you who know me know my husband was a reverend in the Presbyterian Church. And that was a whole 40-year-old experience. Evil can only prevail when good men do nothing. Yeah. And I am seeing it.
And you're talking to the choir.
Day.
Yeah. Well, that is also true, and that's actually, I tell people all the time, Angie, I say, when they say, well, all our leaders change, as soon as power gets ahead, they go change. And I say, listen to me. That's why we live in a democracy, and that's why my term will only be 5 years. If you reasonably say that I've changed, you know what you can do? You can vote me out. But when you have well, in my case, my MP is the Prime Minister. When you have an MP who has been there for 30 years, then you have enabled him. You have created the monster. I always say in Diego Martin West, we created the Prime Minister because he could not be the Prime Minister if he couldn't get elected in Diego Martin West. Tobago rejected him 30 how much years ago when he tried to go up for general
But
elections.
if the man own bloody leader won the country by the man, and nobody listens, not even the people in his party, really. They look with people getting what they look what they ask for. The Prime Minister, God rest his soul, Patrick Manning, warned everybody about Keith Rowley. And to me, he downplayed it because the kind of monster I see it
Yeah,
happen
boy.
here
It's
is
real
nothing
bad.
compared
It's
to what the man
real
did.
bad. It's real bad. Angie, I always tell people, I grew up PNM, right? My parents PNM, my in-laws PNM, rel PNM. And I remember meeting Keith Rowley. He ain't gonna know he meet me, huh? Okay, you know, that's the kind of person he is, which
Yeah.
says, and it just, you know, when your blood don't take somebody, just don't take somebody. Whereas, when I met UNC people, the whole atmosphere, the whole humility, the kindness, everything. And I met UNC as a nobody and I meet PNM as a nobody. So it's not like, well, they're trying to charm you to get you into the party or you know, I mean, but you're just quietly observing, because that's for me what I like to do. I like to quietly observe. I want to see, I want to look
Yeah,
at how,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I look for the details and everything. And
But let me
my
tell you
blood
something.
didn't take
Keith
that
Rowley-
man from day one. Didn't
Keith
take that man.
Rowley-
Yeah.
Minister of Energy, and to more extent, Minister of National Security, none of them should be sleeping in the night because they killed 4 people without using a gun, without using a weapon, but literally snuffed the life out of their body. I am telling you that. And you know what it reminded me of? And I was talking to someone today, they say, do you remember looking at those Harry Potter movies where the Voldemort was just pull the life out of you? That's exactly how we visualize that. They literally took the lives out of these young men.
And
the saddest
Trinidad,
thing is
y'all
that
need to
up
stand
until
up.
Today, I'm not exaggerating. They could challenge me. Up until today, I communicate with Henry. I communicate with Narita. I communicate with Ali. I communicate with everybody. Up until today, not a black cent or any support has been given to these families. Christopher Budram is going through his own turmoil and hell. Only thing that guy feel that he should be alive today.
Oh no, I can't listen.
Let me tell you,
think he is
mentally
going
that
to
boy-
suffer. Yeah. I mean, that is really thing.
To know that your colleagues who you died with for 20-something years, who you go underwater with, who always look out for each other with, just in December it had a big accident down there, blew up. You survived. Another one was pulled out. Just in December, Parry under the same bloody shit. Excuse my language. And yet still, they're not even coming out and saying, well, here what, Mr. Budram, we accept a certain level of responsibility, and for that, we are going to make sure that we send you to the best nursing home or clinic and do a complete rundown on you. The boy arm and legs still have blue spots. What do you think that is?
Wow.
Clotted blood.
Wow.
What if one day that blood clot traveled to his brain? He
Wow.
has 3 beautiful children. I went and I sat with them, chat with them. He has an amazing, adorable wife that gives him absolute support. And you know what's the worst part? The girl is a nurse, so she understands what's going on inside of him.
I was
Up until
talking
today,
to
the boy had
Henry's
find his
wife.
own money.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Henry's wife, and you know the son, the 2-year-old son, saw a car similar to the dad's car pull up, and ran. I can't talk because I will cry.
Well,
And I mean-
I tell everybody when I do my lives, and it gets emotional for me. And the same thing happened with Nagisa's family. Rishi Nagisa's son, who will turn 3 years old on the 4th of April this year, a couple of days from now, still doesn't know his father not coming home.
Yeah.
They still don't have the van in the man yard. How do people like Keith Rowley, Stuart Young, Tom Piper, Mustaq Mohammed, Hines, Fitzgerald Hines, how do these people sleep?
I don't know. And how do they make excuses? How are you so evil that I mean, I don't
And
know.
okay, let me say
I
that.
don't
Okay,
know. I don't know.
let's say CNN people didn't want to come out and protest, so they didn't want to come out in the candlelight vigil.
Well,
Let's
stay
say,
quiet at least.
wait, they stay
Yes.
quiet. But how could you sit down and watch you know it was wrong, but you're staying quiet? No problem. Fine. Let me respect you for that. But how you could still sit down and watch your prime minister do a whole bloody reshuffle and move the minister of energy? Tell me, knowing that this happened.
But they're also online trying to discredit things. Angie, let me tell you something. Somebody come to say, well, take that second autopsy with a pinch of salt because the lawyer under criminal charges. I say, hold up. I said the lawyer first to begin is the one who do the autopsy. But you talking about criminal charges? I said, listen.
I think people need to go and educate themselves about the man who did that autopsy. They need to do that because I myself spoke to him.
They are ridiculous, and that is what gets me so mad. It is almost as though it's had to be obvious. It's had to be obvious because PNM has become like a god, like idolatry that you have to. I mean, as you say, just stay quiet. Okay, that is your party, and you ain't want to come against them. Stay quiet, but you are actively pursuing nonsense.
But there are other ways that
man.
people can speak. There are other avenues, and if they're so silly to let a man take a country that was really going somewhere and move it and put it down in the gutter, then something wrong with us. Because if, and I'm saying it very openly, if the PNM people didn't understand that, let's say, okay, they don't like Kamala, they're saying all kind of thing because it's all about party. But the reality is this: nowhere in the history of this country has children been given any technology to move forward in the future with. Right?
Could you imagine had people's partnership still been, had UNC still been?
If you didn't see that the education was going from adults, senior people, young children, preschoolers, so that you can have a developed country, a developed nation, you can have an educated population. If people weren't recognizing that that is the key to it, I want people to go and look at everybody that use Singapore, Norway. It have a few islands, a few countries well. That's what they focus on. They educated their people so that their progress will be through an educated population. But I believe that the PNM, I remember my grandfather used to say that, they have a dependency syndrome, and without that dependency syndrome that they create, they will not rule properly.
Yeah. Angie, your final words.
My final words is, here's what everybody, on Sunday evening, we're having a candlelight vigil in Sandy Grande by Ojo Road on the taxi stand for Yusuf Henry.
Do you have a flyer or anything?
I don't have a flyer. I just spoke to his mother a short while ago because I keep in touch with everybody, as I said. And I am telling this country, myself and the others who are pushing this, we are not going to stop.
So Sunday evening, give it to me again.
It's Sunday evening by Ojo Road. It's going to be a candlelight vigil for Yusuf Henry. This is in Sandy Grande. For those who are up in the area, come on.
What time?
It should be around between 5 and 6, 5:30 and 6.
Okay.
What I could do is make sure that something goes public.
Yes.
I know that there are all families that are struggling to hold the peace together and whatever. And I really wish Trinidad and Tobago citizens, for once in your life, let us stand up for something as a united front. Because these were lives. Nobody knew what party any of these boys supported. We don't want to know.
Yeah.
It was lives. So let us stop looking at the red and yellow and stop defending the wrong. Anytime we start doing that, we're looking for the lawless society that we are creating right now. So I thank you, Marsha.
Thank you very, very, very much, Angie.
Have a wonderful, fiery weekend. A wonderful day. God has blessed us all. We are here in the land of the living to defend all the evil that prevails us right now.
Yeah.
So have a great evening, everybody, and all who has been listening. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening and weekend.
Thank you so much, Angie. And keep up the fight. Keep up the fight.
I will.
Okay.
Take care.
So that was Angie Benjamin. Angie, as I say, Corky, she was there from the very, very, very get-go. She was there from the get-go.
Right.
Now, I've seen a lot of people throughout the conversation, we were talking about PNM, right? I want to remind, so some people saying, Trinidadians, they vote on race. And okay, no problem, I understand that. Then somebody say, well, Marsha, you need to go somewhere to another seat because, you're being wasted in Diego Martin. Diego Martin is a PNM safe seat, blah, blah, blah. I want you guys to understand that is the psychological warfare that PNM plays. The data does not suggest that Diego Martin is PNM. PNM may win it, but that is because of the psychological warfare. There are 29,000 people who could vote, right? There are 29,000 people who are registered to vote in Diego Martin West. Keith Rowley only got 10,000 of those votes. 19,000 people did not vote for Keith Rowley in Diego Martin West. 19,000 people did not vote for Keith Rowley in Diego Martin West.
Wow.
The trouble is that the data is not given because PNM's propaganda wheel, they cause voter suppression because they make you feel that, well, my voting go count because it's such a PNM safe seat that my voting go count was the point of coming out.
Yeah.
Right? That's why they push this kind of nonsense, because they try to get you to stay home. So they try to keep you on the fence. So they go tell you nonsense like PNM, UNC, same thing. It is not the same thing. Do research. We are not the same thing. No way, no how. Do the research. Do the research. PNM ran this country for 30 years and never thought to save a cent. Thank God for UNC that we have something to dip into. And then when UNC came back in under Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, we then had the most money deposited into the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. This government has deposited none but only withdrawing. So you cannot say to me it's the same thing, Corky. They can't say that. They cannot say that. You had 30 years, nobody in come to mess it up. 30 uninterrupted years is what PNM had.
Right.
How many oil booms? They had sugar cane, they had everything. We have sun, we have sea.
Yeah.
Everything we had. And you didn't think to put aside something for a rainy day?
My gosh.
Nah, man. Don't come and say that UNC is the same thing as PNM. That's the psychological mind thing, the warfare that they're playing with you. So that they sit down on the fence and they say, well, you know what? I ain't go vote. I tell Ollie I do that in 2015. Them talk about section 34, section 34, section 34. And I sit down and I say, well, you know what? Me ain't go vote. But then when you come and you research it, section 34 looking more about the PNM than about the UNC. Because section 34 happened underneath when it told Ish and Steve that they want to talk about. I keep saying it. Ish and Steve were charged under PNM. So why PNM didn't sign the extradition and send them off? But it's a PNM Attorney General who made it impossible. So when Anand Ram Logan came in under the UNC and he signed the extradition, it was the working of the PNM before that made it impossible. Ish and Steve only served jail time during UNC. So if it was UNC, if section 34 was about Ish and Steve, Keith Rowley and his entire cabinet, well, it wasn't cabinet then. It was his opposition, all his MPs. In the Senate, out of the Senate, in the lower house, in the upper house, they passed section 34 unanimously. In fact, Marlene McDonald said it was her own. It was PNM own that was boasting. Now you come with your mind, your propaganda to tell us. You come in to tell us section 34 is a UNC thing and UNC corruption. But you fool me. You fool me, so I stay home. I would have been part of the 19,000 in 2015 that stay home because I didn't know. Because you put me on the fence. because you put me on the fence. Yes. That is the mind games. Let me tell you all who putting down here that Diego Martin West cannot be won. 29,000 people are eligible to vote in Diego Martin West. And Keith Rowley only got 10,000 of those votes. It's public. Go and check. Go and do the research. Don't take my word for it. Go and do the research. 19,000 people. So we don't even, I'm not even talking to the PNM base. I'm not even talking to the PNM base. The 10,000 are all they could go back and vote for Rowley. But the 19,000 persons, y'all must decide to make a difference. Make a difference. Get involved. Get the information. Get the information. It is there. Call me. I take calls every hour of the day. I take calls. I am available. Get the information. I come. I talk. Anytime people come and say they want to talk, I meet. I do cottage meetings. Always meeting. Always giving the information. So don't come and say Diego Martin West cannot be won. And when they put it down to grand, some people saying Trinidadians as well. Again, Keith, Chalky. Corky.
Yeah.
Only less than 30%.
Yes.
I have a number here, something like 28%, right?
Yes.
Voted for PNM. Because the voter turnout was 58%.
Okay.
UNC got more votes in Trinidad than PNM.
Oh my God.
Remember, they didn't contest Tobago, so that would have been two
yes.
less seats.
Okay.
They lost by 1,300 votes. So even if they had put somebody in Tobago and get 500 votes or something in the 2 seats or whatever,
yes,
they might have still won the overall popular vote.
Okay.
Right? But with 2 seats left, with 2 seats less, UNC in Trinidad and Tobago, UNC won the popular vote.
Right.
Right? So don't come and say that, Trinidad and they vote race and whatever. No, Trinidadians didn't vote. That's the problem. They didn't vote.
Yes. They gotta vote
because
this time.
PNM does voter suppression. It's 7:02. I miss my top of the hour. Don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Yes.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 97.5 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
New 97.5 FM, hot like pepper, multicultural radio.
Power to the listeners.
This season of Lent, get more options from Royal Castle with their 3 tasty meal specials. Meals made with the freshest fish, seasoned with the castle's appetizing Trini ingredients and cooked to golden perfection. Choose from the fish combo, 2 succulent pieces of fish, 1 side and a 16-ounce soft drink, or the fish sandwich combo of a tender, tasty sandwich, 1 side and a 16-ounce soft drink, or even a flavorful veggie combo option of a sandwich, a side and a 16-ounce soft drink. Get more options from Royal Castle. Our culture, our taste for Lent.
Rupnarine's March Special now on. Purchase any kitchen or bathroom vanity and get your handles free as well as free installation. Yes, available for the entire month of March. Free handles, free installation. There is more good news at Rupnarine. We manufacture everything you need. Just let us know the size and color. We also do site visits nationwide. Visit us at Rupnarine Commercial Complex, Caroni Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or call us today at 665-7667 or 377-7667 for more details.
Le Grand Courant Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. Le Grand Courant Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock.
Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in. Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Opening hours.
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Eddie's Pharmacy Limited, we have a selection of all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs to complement your wellness. Every product we carry is vetted and approved by our pharmacists who will be happy to assist you. With branches at C3 Mall inside JTA Supermarket, 1135 SS Erin Road in Pinal, and 54 Rocha Douglas Road in Barrackpore. We offer services such as blood pressure testing, blood sugar testing, cholesterol testing, and also offer a wide variety of pregnancy test kits. We accept most major health insurances. For further information, contact Eddie's Pharmacy at any of our 3 branches. C3 Mall, contact number 228-4990, 54 Rocha Douglas Road in Barrackpore at 654-2655. Or SS Erin Road in Pinal, 647-0778, Eddie's Pharmacy Limited.
Greeting in the wonderful name of Jesus. My name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, your chachi, your chacha, your grandpa, your grandma. We need to pray for our nation. God bless you. Thank you.
Praise Him, praise Him.
Fire Friday!
Friday, mash up the place. Friday, in front of the face. Friday, red, white, and black. Friday, and black.
Fire Friday!
Thank God it is Friday. Thank God it is Friday. Thank God it is Friday.
Friday, mash up the place. Friday, in front of the face. Friday, red, white, and black. Friday, and black.
Thank God it is Friday.
And then you have to look good on a Friday.
Y'all, we need to put a camera on Cook, yeah? We need to put a camera. Check me bending down. I think I come out to the camera and put on all my lip balm and thing, drinking my water outside of the camera, all kind of thing.
yes.
Oh, well. Okay, so I'm told we have MP
Yes.
Embarrassing on.
Yes, yeah.
All right, guys. We were talking PNM corruption, eh? No, it wasn't PNM corruption. We're talking PNM voter suppression and stuff. But you know, all of it in the end deals with PNM's misinformation.
Yes.
And so I want to call this segment Setting the Carony Record Straight.
Right.
So, MP Embarrassing. Hello?
Yes, a pleasant good night to
Good
you.
night. Good night, MP. How are you?
And of course, Koki, and it's a pleasure to have me on douglAR Politics, by extension, Fire Fridays.
Yes.
Using that term this evening.
So, MP, we want to set the record straight because we know that PNM has a history of using misinformation as part of their political tools. You were the union leader at the time when Carony was shut down, yes?
Yes, you are quite right
Okay, so
about that.
so
I
Corky,
was.
some history,
Okay.
Corky, right? This is the man who was the union leader at the time.
Okay.
So he would have felt, you would have felt the emotion, you would have felt everything. Start from there, MP. Tell us what went on all the way back then.
And you are quite right that I was in the heat, as you would say, in the kitchen, so I was dealing with the heat and all the issues, whether it was emotional, passionate, the historical antecedents, and so on. And the government of the day, led by Prime Minister Patrick Manning, took a decision via the Cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago to Carony 1975 Limited. it was a decision that reeked of political vindictiveness, and to understand the decision, you have to understand how the government of the day treated Caroni 1975 Limited in terms of subvention and cash flow and so on. But more of that decision to close Caroni. Caroni was represented, just like Petrotrin employees, by a recognized majority union, and that was the Old Trinidad Sugar and General Workers Trade Union. But the government of the day, which should have allowed, because Caroni was a state entity, should have allowed the company management to meet with the recognized majority union and to indicate what was being offered, what was being done, and so on. But that did not happen. People sometimes forget that the then Minister of Agriculture, John Rahal, he attempted to assume the role of being the human resource manager of Caroni. So he held public meetings, and people cannot challenge me on what I am saying here. He held public meetings at Caroni Research Station in Waterloo. He held one at the Woodfuller Field Engineering Department. He held one at Sevilla Club, one at Using St. Madeleine, and so on. And when he was laying the groundwork for the closure, he also held a meeting at the Rudranath Kapildev Learning Resource Center. And there he indicated what was being offered was simply a financial settlement of sum that was based on the collective agreement which existed between union and company, and that was the union for all daily paid employees, which was about 12,000 employees at that point in time. And they issued letters, individual letters of offer to all the employees, contrary to the Industrial Relations Act, contrary to good industrial relations practices when you have a recognized majority union. So to fast forward, the union took a decision that it will seek an injunction at the industrial court to prevent the company and the government from going in this direction. And as a result of that, the case was argued by the senior counsel, Douglas Mendez, on behalf of the union and so on. The industrial court unanimously granted the union an injunction preventing the government and Caroni from going ahead. And it instructed the company and the state to meet with the union to discuss what the government wanted to do. Within minutes of that injunction being granted, Minister Rahal flagrantly, again, the disregard for independent institutions. This is a track record that the PNM has.
Well, this is why I asked you for the history, because a lot of people, even my age, these things aren't taught in schools, so we miss a lot of the history. So when people, there isn't that what I would call like a sort of a historical hate. When you understand that this is, as you say, a track record, then when you vote, you would be voting from a really knowledgeable place that, listen, this has been going on for generations.
Yeah, the PNM, whether it is the PNM of Eric Williams, the PNM of Patrick Manning, the PNM of Dr. Rowley, they have no respect for organized labor. They have no respect for the labor laws of Trinidad and Tobago. And whatever they might want to, whatever narrative they may want to create that they are just party for and on behalf of workers and so on, you have to see that over the last 7 years, 130+ thousand persons would have lost their jobs in this country. I do not know if you could recollect, we're digressing a bit here, you could recollect that the opposition, led by Dr. Rowley, had signed a memorandum of understanding with the labor movement prior to the general elections of 2015. And in that memorandum of understanding, they committed themselves to a number of deliverables to the labor movement.
Okay.
That the PNM was elected into office, and that was thrown immediately through the window. There has been no timely settlement of wage negotiations and so on. And in fact, today the Minister of Finance, if you're following the news, and I'm sure you have, he issued a media release indicating that the government has honored its commitment to begin negotiations with the unions in the state sector. This is to settle negotiations which are outstanding since 2012. So there are approximately 3 periods of negotiations that are outstanding. Workers in 2022 are living on 2012 salaries and so on. And they are being subjected to increases in the price of goods and services, which is slowly growing out of control.
Yeah.
And to say that they are meeting their obligations, this is a government that undermined collective bargaining for the last 3 collective bargaining periods. This is why, as I said, that it is nothing new. It is nothing outside of the box. It is nothing honoring current commitments and so on. And that is why I will again say that the Minister of Finance has been disingenuous to say that the government is honoring its commitment. If the government really wanted to honor its commitment, when they assumed office, they would have dealt with all outstanding negotiations like we did when Mrs. Prasad Bisesta was Prime Minister. The partnership was in government. We settled 135 negotiations, and we were able to find $5 billion plus to deal with outstanding liabilities and so on. Coming back, so
coming back now, yes, to Carney, and showing that what we're seeing today is exactly what we saw then.
Nothing new.
Right.
The PNM's focus has always been to eliminate, recognize union from the workplace, eliminating unionized terms and conditions, undermining the labor laws of Trinidad and Tobago, and, as I said, undermining the collective bargaining process. Check their track record from 1962 to 2022.
So you're at the point where you guys you were successful in the injunction, and then John Rahal stepped in and did something.
Yeah. So we got the injunction. We forced the state, by extension, Carney, around the negotiating table. And as a result of that, you had a registered agreement at the court known as IRO 9 of 2003. The basic agreement was, in summary, a financial settlement, an enhanced financial settlement, also a residential lot of land for all employees of Carney, and 2 acres for agricultural purposes, financial counseling and retraining and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So, time started to go, 2003. So by 2007 and so on, not a residential or agricultural plot of land was distributed to any Carney employees. So the union, we worked with then Senior Counsel Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj. We took the government to court. And Justice D.L. Singh ruled in 2008 that the government, based on the agreement that was signed at the court, the government should begin to do the infrastructural work so that
Right.
it could facilitate the distribution of the agricultural and residential leases.
So you guys won in the court.
Well, we won, but again,
So,
the
so what I'm
PNM
noticing here, right?
Yeah.
While you're setting the track record for the PNM, you know what I'm seeing? The track record for the UNC, because I'm seeing right now where the UNC lawyers are in the court day after day fighting for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And I notice it's the same UNC lawyers who were fighting for the carony workers back then, same way. So I just noticed that track record now. As we were noticing track records of PNM, I'm seeing the track record of the UNC. But continue.
Yeah. So the issue really at hand is that a PNM government will always undermine the Constitution, the laws of the land, and will act always unconstitutional, no respect for independent institutions and so on. And this is why citizens, organizations and so on will always have to resort to the courts to get redress from a fair play, equality, justice to deal with issues of discrimination and so on whenever PNM government is in power. So, Justice Dial Singh ruled, but again, the PNM of Patrick Manning was not prepared to honor the agreement of the court. So, Prime Minister Patrick Manning instructed his Attorney General to appeal the ruling of Justice Dial Singh. So it moved from the High Court to the Appeal Court and all the way to the Privy Council. So not a lot of land for residential or any 2-acre plots for agricultural purposes was distributed between 2003 to 2010, May of 2010. When we got into power, Prime Minister Prasad Bisesa instructed her Attorney General, who at the time was Anand Ramlogan, to withdraw this matter from the Privy Council. And when this was withdrawn from the Privy Council, and understanding our commitment to former Caroni employees, we undertook to begin the development work on the lands that were earmarked or identified, and as a result of that, in 5 years, we were able to distribute 5,000 plus 2-acre plots and 3,000 plus residential lots. And nobody can dispute that in terms of what I have indicated to you. Unfortunately, we were voted out of office. And we must never forget that it was Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley who told sugar workers at a meeting in Southern Main Road in Couva, and when he came to open up PNM's regional office at Chrissy Trace and Enterprise Terrace, he said, give the PNM a chance in Central Trinidad, and we will ensure that lands for ex-Caroni workers are distributed. And in their 7 years into government, today it is a PNM government again which has stopped the distribution of lands. If indeed they distributed any, when they came into power, it was those leases that were prepared and sites that were developed when the partnership exited office. The PNM of Dr. Rowley for the last 7 years have not developed any new sites and so on, and I challenge them to say or tell the country how much they have, how much is out, lots and plots are not being distributed. So it is very clear that it is the PNM's track record of stopping and not wanting to honor the courts, honor the judgment, honor the agreements and so on. And at the end of the day, when you have persons who don't understand, and we have to call them out. We have to call them out because at the end of the day, they must declare what is their true purpose and intention. My information coming to me that one who seems to be the new or wants to assume the role of being the savior of ex-carrying workers and so on. And tonight I want to warn and guide ex-carrying workers and so on. You have frustrated, but Kamala Prasad Bissessa and the UNC and the partnership did not frustrate you. Kamala Prasad Bissessa, the UNC, and the partnership didn't stop your distribution of lands. So when you attempt to or want to train your guns on the Mrs. Prasad Bissessa and the UNC and the partnership, it has no merit or it has no basis. And those who may want to come to appear to be saviors and working on the behalf of ex-carrying workers and so on, at this juncture, information that has reached me, one or two have had some political ambition, they have some relationships and so on with persons who may have their eyes on the leadership of the United National Congress. And Mrs. Prasad Bissessa has made her position very clear. She has made a clarion call for all those who have gone astray, who have gone in different directions and so on. This is not the time to cuss the leader. This is not the time to cuss the UNC. This is the time to close ranks and to be unified.
Well, I actually have that on my agenda. So you're going right into my next topic, not for you, but on the agenda.
No, but I am finished with these fly-by-night or Johnny-come-lately leaders or so-called leaders of attempting to be the saviors of ex-carrying workers. I am told that there are certain persons who have assumed the role of real estate agents, and they are attempting to tell you that they are leaders and they are working on your behalf. What they have really done, in tandem with a couple of business persons, they have brought out ex-carrying workers in terms of they have paid them for their lands. And when they get the lands, it is to be done, transferred to these business people from a legal point of view and so on. So what they are really, they are moonlighting as leaders, but they are really real estate agents with political connections and political aspirations also.
Wow.
There's one individual, I'm told she was screened for about 3 or 4 seats when the partnership was empowered. Right? And she seemed to have found comfort in some political relationship, I'm told, with one Mr. Vasant Bharat and so on. But we will deal with them too on the political platform in and out of the Gayal. But as I said, don't pretend that you are advocating a cause when you are really exploiting and abusing the dignity of ex-carrying workers. And it was so sad that the women's arm of the UNC had a pot and spoon march to highlight the escalating cost of living down in opposite the Pinal Market. And then about 2 Sundays ago, where we attempted to highlight the delay in work being done by OSHA and the Commission of Inquiry in relation to the Paria tragedy. And if these people had any decency to understand what the women's arm was doing, they would have not attempted to intrude and to come in the most vulgar and obscene of manners to disrupt what was being done. If you had respect for the memories of the divers and their families, if you had a sense of respect for women and the pain and the trauma that they have to deal with cutting and fitting their budgets in terms of the high prices of food and food stuff and so on, you would have not attempted to upstage or create havoc and so on. You would have at least supported these two initiatives. And also, the UNC is a very disciplined and organized political party. And I'm sure that if they indicated in a very responsible manner whether they wanted to meet myself, I have the information, I have an intimate knowledge of the history of this exercise and so on, and they are interested in the United National Congress pursuing this or adding their voice in the parliament of this country, which we have been doing for the last how many budget presentations, this issue have been raised, the issue of the land distribution from time to time. In fact, I have on the order paper a question or notice to ask. It is on the order paper about 2 or 3 Fridays now, but we haven't reached that number in the question as it relates to calling on the Minister of Agriculture to tell the country how many leases are outstanding for ex-Caroni employees in terms of residential and agricultural purposes. In fact, when it came up last Friday, the leader of government business, Camille Robinson Reed, indicated that the government was in no position to answer the question that I had on the order paper, and they asked for the question to be deferred for an additional 2 weeks. So,
you know, I find those kinds of things need to make sure and make headlines, eh? That is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
No, but you see what mainstream media will want to highlight 5 or a dozen people who, and in fact, you know, the so-called leader of this little disruptive group did not work Caroni Limited and don't even know what a badge number looked like. In fact, was never employed when Caroni was closed. In fact, if it had 12 people and out of that 12, 50% of them did not work Caroni 1975 Limited. As I said, I have no problem with former employees, whether they support the UNC or not. That is not my business. The UNC, under Mrs. Prasad Bissessa, we are made of very sterner stuff in attempting to be the voice of the community that doesn't have a voice. So if this group wants to meet to highlight and make a case for highlighting their issues out of the parliament, not out of, but inside the parliament, certainly we would be only too willing to do so. And the UNC has been very clear on this, you know, because I do not know if you can tell the country, if you can recollect, about 3 Monday night forum ago, if we could find the clip, and I'm sure you can. And
yes, once you tell me, it was 3 Monday nights
ago. I think it was 2 or 3 or 4 Monday night forum ago, where Mrs. Prasad Bissessa provided me with the opportunity to speak on this Caroni issue even before people was up and down making mischief and so on. And I outlined in a very clear manner what the PNM did when compared to what Mrs. Prasad Bissessa did and her government when she led Trinidad and Tobago. And I have not heard, I have not seen, I do not know if you have, but I've never seen this grouping outside of the Prime Minister's office or outside of the Ministry of Agriculture, where the minister is housed, or outside of the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, or even when we are walking into Parliament and say, well, Mr. Indar Singh, or whoever, we have a petition here, we have a letter for you. Could you undertake A, B, C, D, and E, and so on? So it is not like we are newcomers to what is the concern of legitimate persons. But as I am saying to you, those who did not work Caroni, who have no local standard in the matter, do not allow persons, or do not allow, I am warning ex-Caroni workers, not to be used by those who are seeking to foster themselves onto the unguarded public from a political point of view.
Very good. Duly noted. I hope they are listening and taking notes, which is the same thing that it's really the same kind of thing that Rowley did, right? Give us a chance, give us a chance. 7 years later, and what? You know, you're using, you're taking advantage of our weaknesses.
Yeah, and I mean, the Minister of Agriculture, who was a former employee of Caroni, by the way, Mr. Clarence Rambarat, I do not know if you are aware of that. And he's no longer in the compound, as we would say. He's no longer the Minister of Agriculture, Land and Marine Resources. And, you know, these ex-Caroni workers should be asking him, what did he do when he was in the cabinet? Did he lobby? Did he agitate? Can he account to the ex-Caroni workers in terms of what was done in the last 7 years under the PNM led by Dr. Rowley? I can account to this country what the partnership led by Mrs. Prasad Bisesa was able to do in 5 years for you.
Very true. I want to just go back very quickly to one thing you said early on in the story.
And in addition to the distribution of the lands and so on, right? Sometimes we forget. So it's important for me to remind the country. The Patrick Manning administration had imposed a development charge. So you know you're getting a piece of land, so they told you, if you're getting A, B, and C, you have to pay between $25,000 to $30,000. And ex-Caroni workers did pay in advance of getting their land. When Mrs. Prasad Bisesa came into power, her government took a decision, her cabinet took a decision that the development charges will no longer be applicable. The lands would be given free of charge from a residential point of view. So every person who paid $20,000 or $25,000 or $30,000, they were reimbursed. And nobody can tell me that is not true. Additionally, there were ex-Caroni workers who invested their financial sums in an investment arrangement between the Unit Trust Corporation and the Agricultural Development Bank. That investment arrangement promised rates of return which did not materialize, and it failed to bring the desired levels of investment return.
Tell me about
$12 million in terms of interest income did not come to the table, as we would say, or did not bear fruit. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa's cabinet took a decision to pay that to ex-Caroni workers who invested their monies in this investment scheme between the Unit Trust Corporation and the Agricultural Development Bank. In addition to that, ex-Caroni workers at the time, through the union, lobbied the partnership government to say or indicate that they wanted the right to be able to transfer their lands, the ownership of their lands, to relatives and dependents and so on. That was facilitated by the partnership cabinet. So again, I could tell you and outline what was done by a UNC-led partnership government through Prime Minister Prasad Bisesa. So, and nobody, I could say this on radio here tonight, I could get up on any political platform, I could go in the parliament, outside of the parliament, and repeat what I'm saying to you, and nobody can tell you that it is the furthest thing from the truth. in terms of what we did. And I stand committed here tonight that anytime the UNC returns to the government of Trinidad and Tobago, led by Mrs. Prasad Bisesa, I am sure that we will continue where we left off to fulfill this sense of commitment and duty to the former Caroni workers in keeping with the Registered Industrial Relations Agreement, which is at the Industrial Court under number 9 of 2003.
Thank you very, very much. Before you go, I want you had said that the decision to close Caroni was political vindictiveness. Why do you say that?
I could say that, and Mrs.
Educate us.
Dr. Lenny State was leading the negotiation team. We had 1 or 2 meetings before it actually, the industrial court granted the injunction. And Dr. Lenny State indicated to me whether he will indicate, because I do not know what is the level of health and remembrances at this point in time and so on. But he did indicate to me that the time had come to break the backs of the All Trinidad Sugar and General Workers Trade Union. And I said, why? He said that the union and Rienzi complex was a breeding ground for young and aspiring politicians.
That is why. That is why you call it political vindictiveness.
Yeah, they were never serious about developing Caroni 1975 Limited. When they challenged the union, when they said they wanted to close Caroni, I was in charge, so I commissioned a study that was done by Dr. Daneshwar Mahabir and Dr. Rudal Munilal as 2 consultants. And we came up with a plan that was entitled Prospects and Proposals for the Future of Caroni 1975 Limited. And we wanted to get private sector participation in the operations of Caroni. We advocated for the establishment of a holding company and breaking up Caroni to create strategic business units. One was a land company, one was one for the rum division, one was for the citrus division, for the field engineering operations and so on, and the cultivation and the refining operations. So we were saying to the government, establish strategic business units and let us look at where the hemorrhaging was taking place. Today, Gaisuco in Guyana has one of the premier rum in the world, El Dorado, and that is marketed all through and sold throughout the globe. It has won many awards. Why we could not have taken the distillery and done that for the aged rum? You know, all the aged rum that is manufactured in Trinidad, the raw rum that is made by Angostura and even Gaisuco and so on in Guyana. It used to come from Caroni rum, distillery, the bulk rum. All the refining of sugar in the Caribbean was done at Caroni's refinery. You see, these are things that are not told. Today we continue to talk about the diversification of the economy. And we were saying, take the citrus operations, all the citrus that is grown on the lands at La Gloria and Todd's Road and so on, and establish a juicing company, establish a downstream entity so that it could have and use the whatever in terms of the citrus success to supply the school feeding program. We were saying the agriculture, aquaculture and food and so on, to link it in terms of agricultural crops and so on, to link it to the school feeding program and even probably supply food. The PNM was not prepared to hear these arguments at that point in time. And Dr. Munilal and Dr. Daneshwar Mahabir, who was the senior lecturer in economics at the University of the West Indies and so on, they could bear testimony to what I've indicated to you here as it relates to the union, not throwing its hands in the air and moaning and groaning and so on, but coming up with our own business plan for the future of Caroni at that point in time.
Wow. This has been very, very educational. Very educational. Thank you so much. I had a question, but I can't remember it now because then you went on again. I should have written down the question, like I had written down the political vindictiveness. But wow, you know, there's just so much that a lot of people do not know, which is, of course, what we're trying to do on Fire Fridays. You know, we want to make sure that all the history, you know, because I think that I just explained to our audience, I mean, in Diego Martin West at least, right? 29,000 people are registered to vote, 29,000 something, right? And only 10,000 of those voted for Keith Rowley, you know. So 19,000 people sit on the fence, and it is simply because they don't know. Because this information does not pass through the mainstream. So we have to keep bringing back the history. And I'm seeing Tommy Mohammed saying, what do we do to get the non-voters to come out to vote? Because I was giving them that data, you know. At the end of the day, the voter turnout, even for the general election, was a 52, 54% or something like that. It was, you know, it was small. So when you really consider how many people voted for PNM, it's like, what, 28% of the electorate.
Yeah,
we can get them out. So when people sit down and think things like Diego Martin can be won and whatever, that is a trick. That is voter suppression. You know, the political leaders spoke about that voter suppression, misinformation. That is their biggest campaign, misinformation.
Well, the PNM is always, you know, focused on propaganda and suppressing the truth and so on. And sometimes, while I do not attack the media and so on, but mainstream media always tries to suppress our system and suppressing the real information and so on that should be digested by the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And that is why we commend Mr. Daniel Roberts and yourself and others for the information that comes out on douglAR politics and the information which comes out through the political leader and
well, you guys are on platforms every day.
On our team at the Monday Night Forum, also at the press conferences,
Thursday, Sunday,
TNT speaks and so on. So people must understand, and in the parliament and whether it is in the upper house or the lower house and so on. So the UNC is always doing its part, and within the last two years and so on, we were under the public health regulation. Gatherings were limited to 25, and we innovated, we rose to the level where we came into your homes via the virtual platform using the different social media handles and so on, press conferences. And I'm sure that with the passage of time, from Monday, public gatherings and so on will no longer be limited to 25 and so on. And I'm sure with the guidance of the political leader, the national executive of the party and so on, the UNC will continue to be on the hustings, engaging the population of Trinidad and Tobago in different forms and fashion as we offer our programs, our policies, our alternatives in terms of we being the real deal, as we would say, in relation to governing Trinidad and Tobago.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very, very, very much, MP Indar Singh. Any closing words?
Thank you very much, and I always make myself available to promote the work of the UNC under the leadership of Mrs. Prasad Bissasan. At the end of the day, correcting the propaganda that is put out there by Dr. Rowley and his incompetent bunch, So feel free at any point in time.
I will.
Once as I have the time.
Well,
to knock on
I
my door.
actually am. I'm gonna put you on the spot here because I'm gonna ask you publicly now. You know, we have the checklist. We have again, you know, between douglAR report checklist. We're always putting out information. So I am going to call you for an interview for all the different bits and pieces that I didn't get here, because I think we definitely need to do something, some article to make sure that we record this in the checklists and whatnot. Definitely, and douglAR reports.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, and I remain at your disposal.
You as well. Thank you, MP. Listen, these are the things that we must get out. I'm seeing it, Mohammed, Tommy, you're saying it. You're asking, what do we do to get the voters out? This is what we must do. And I'm going to remind you all of numbers. I found my numbers page, right? It is 58.04% voter turnout, Corky, right? 322,250 voted for the PNM. So 322,000, right? 475,000 people did not vote. So we don't even need to convince PNM base. But what we need to do is give the proper information. And that's where the UNC soldiers, we are out here. That's why we look for MP and Darrison and these people to come and give us the information. You hear the interview. You heard that interview. They shut down Carney 1975. Why? Because it's a political breeding ground? Because they want to make sure UNC don't grow? Yeah. That's what it is. They want to make sure UNC don't grow from strength to strength. Yeah. Right? And so when people talk about Kamla and you want to protest and whatnot, yes, give them the facts. Give them the facts that PNM have a track record for shutting these kinds of things down. They shut down the rail, the Trinidad rail, they shut down Caroni, they shut down Petrotrin, and they're always talking about promises. Remember, they promised with Petrotrin to sell it. They want to give it to the union, and then and they fill our head. So why the union can't buy it, and this and that? What has become of that? It's the same thing that they did with Caroni before that, right? So we saw the track record. He built up the argument. He showed it to you. He showed you the facts of the matter. And that is what we must do. When you all ask, how do we get the voters to come out? That's how we get them to come out. And I can tell it to you from by me. Remember, I tell you all. I tell it to you. So you could use me. You could use me as a case study. How did I move away from one PNM to then defense to then to UNC? It's through information. Knowledge is power. And that is why PNM has that. Listen, if they would invest in proper education, like they just invest in misinformation, we would be first world, you know. We would be first world. And I want to touch on, I see it's 7:53 already. But I want to touch on something that, all right, let me take some calls, because actually I did not take calls in the last segment. So let me take the calls in the last 7 minutes. Good night, you're live with Marsha Walker.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.
Now, what Mr. Embarrassing was pointing out there, all the things were right, because I was not deeply involved in union activities and so on nationally. Right? But the little that I follow up, I have no reason to say that what the thing that was pointed out was wrong. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, the other thing is that the whole thing not only not getting the people to turn out to vote, not only that, even what has the voter, if they have gratitude, if they are grateful to Ms. Bissessa, right? Because sorry, well, we would have won this election, right? We really not have voted. Mm-hmm. Because it's a case of ingratitude. Because even those who are under 65 years, they will say that we're not entitled for old age pension, mm-hmm, and so on. Right? If they had gratitude, they would have voted for the UNC government. Because they would have studied what was done to their children. And even some of them grandchildren who are only 47, 48, and all. their children with the laptops and all these things. So, and then now those now who were over 65 and over would have voted for her also, because they would have remembered that the question involved that what we did, we asked Patrick Warren for an increase in pension, his pension for $47. I could never forget that. And when Mr. Bissessa came into office, he gave us $500 one time. And if they had gratitude, all of them would have stuck down. Great among them that have stuck down. For over 65 years, they talk against Mr. Bissessa and the UNC party. They wouldn't do that. And they would have voted for the UNC.
Yes.
Right? So in gratitude, especially some of us bigger people, are saying it plain as it is.
Yeah. Well, we've said it before. You must vote for yourself. Don't vote for nothing else but yourself. Oh, okay, we've lost them. Good night. You are live with Marsha Walker on Fire Fridays.
Good evening, Marsha,
Hello.
Koki, and to everybody out there. Marsha, you know, while you were talking to MP in Dowsing, I keep saying, you see, knowledge is power. You see, that is why you PNM want to keep their people down. They took away all the laptops and everything from them, keep them illiterate. I am shocked to hear. I mean, it was said before, but you know, sometimes we need a little...
No, we need a reminder. We need a reminder.
Little reminder, yes, that all the monies that these people paid under Patrick Mann and PNM, it's reimbursed, and you're not hearing anything about it. And as he rightly said, look at, you all have so many opportunities to approach us, and you all are not doing it, but they decided to go and disrupt some meetings. And talking about Mrs. Pasabli says never did any. And you have the new sing-song now. She rode the back of the sugar workers. No, she did not. She did not. Keith Rowley did that when he tell them, follow me, follow me, and I will give all of the land. Just like what he did the workers money. He told them, I will finish pay all it. Look at what happened after they voted for him. They decided to follow Nirvan Maharaj and Keith Rowley. All they didn't want to put back Kamala there, and now all they want Kamala to wave a magic wand and help all you. It don't work so. Elections have consequences. We keep hearing it over and over and over. And these are some of the consequences. And as one of your on the chat is asking, how do we get them out? We are too complacent. It's local government. We don't need to go and vote. No, everybody needs to come out every time.
Every time.
Back into office. And before I leave, Marsha, I want to say something. It looks as though the Bermuda Triangle visited the DPP office again. That some part of Mali in case disappeared.
Listen. Don't get me started. I want to make sure that the political leader has the first shot at that. So I ain't bringing that up this week. Don't get me started on that. Don't get me started.
No, sometimes have to
PNM sleeper cells, girl. Yes. PNM sleeper cell. But don't get me started, as I say.
Sleeper cells, yes, sleeper cells. Thanks a lot, Marsha, and have a good evening.
You too. Good night. You are live with Marsha Walker on Fire Fridays. I lost it. We will take maybe one more call, two more calls. Good night. You are live with Marsha Walker.
Very well. Good night, Marsha.
Good night.
Good night, Koki. Good night, citizen. Listen, I'm not contradicting, denying, or cast aspiration on anybody. But you see, that statement that was made, money is no problem. That is the destruction of plenty of the supporters, because they realize now that our told us, we don't have to work, we don't go to school, we just sit back and relax, and our father of the nation will take care of us. But look what happened now. They are denied and deprived of plenty things. You know why? They believe in that lie. That statement, no money is a problem, was very destructive, and they was not aware of it until now. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? That is what they supported. That is what deceived them. That is what their lie. but he's no more. And they can that until this very day, and look what many of them are facing now. They can't blame it, because when he said money is no problem, everybody else say, hey, but look what he said. We have to survive and seek for ourselves. So everybody else went in different direction and held themselves why they believe in what he said, money is no problem. And look what is happening now. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so it's the top of the hour. We're going to go on a break. I see the phones ringing. I promise I will open back the phone lines as soon as we come back from the break. Don't go anywhere. It's Marsha Walker on Fire Fridays.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 97.5 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners. Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in.
Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock.
Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Opening hours.
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Hi, this is Michael Rutlal, attorney at law. I'm inviting you to join me every Thursday at 5 p.m. on MCTV for the Social Contract. It's a new show where we will be discussing bills that are being debated in Parliament, topical legal issues and recent decisions of our courts, and where we'll be giving general legal advice on issues that affect you, the public. I encourage all of you to continue looking at MCTV, bringing you back to where you belong.
Now, U975 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio is at the Crab House, Barge, this Friday, April 1st.
Anytime we go wherever and we meet up with our partner, what we gonna do, bring to bed.
Featuring Rowty Ramrup, Kavita Ramkisu, and Papa Steve.
Look at this, the original Papa. When you're coming, come good.
And the U975 FM crew, The Crab House, Barge, Friday After Work Live, located at El Socorro Extension Road, Ramlogan Street, Caroni River. All roads lead to the Crab House this Friday, 1st April.
Now come!
Yes, the crew is up there at the Crab House in El Socorro Extension Road, Ramlogan Street, Caroni River. Yes, the whole crew is there. Also Papa Steve, Kavita Ramkisoon, Rowty Ramrup, and the Shooting Stars Tosser Group. It started at 6 p.m. Okay, so they're in full effect right now. That's tonight. That's today. It's on right now. Yes, Marsha.
Am I back on?
Yes, you were always on.
Oh my gosh.
Even while I was speaking.
You didn't even tell me the camera come back on and thing?
Oh, the camera? No.
Oh, thank God, because
But
I say, my...
but it's on now.
Okay.
You're back.
Okay, I see we have a call one time. Let me take that call one time because I did promise to take the calls as we come back. Good evening. You are live on U975 and douglAR Radio.
Good night, good night.
Good night.
And they shut down the market too.
Really?
And George Street.
Oh, yes. Yes, more things they shut down.
They shut down on Caroni. They shut down the market and all. Why we see people are selling the road and the pavement now. You see, and check they were selling on George Street. Thing that street is. Big grant to win anything, they paying and all kind of things, and people selling fish and all kind of things in the road. You understand? They had cleaners for a long time when they used to sell in the market. When I was a little boy, they used to wash down the market when the market closed, you know. All the sheet and things, you know. The place is to be clean and all the sheet is to be clean. And if you check it out, you check your pass and things. Well, now you pass on George Street and Charlotte Street. It's a rare thing with black water and drain. And they are washing down to the concrete and washing down. I don't know what's going on in this country. They shut down Caroni. Man, shut down Caroni. They want to kill Kamala. Like Kamala shut down Caroni. Why didn't you kill Manan? Nobody make no noise when Man.
Yeah, well, we don't seem to make noise when PNM in power.
Yes, they wanted to kill Kamala now. Like Kamala closed down Caroni. Kamala didn't close down Caroni is Manan. You see, I reckon shut down the market, they shut down the trade. Then this one, the three musketeers, Eric William, Manan, and Raoul. That is closed down the three musketeers, I just call them. All right, Marsha, take it back.
Thank you, good night. The closed down crew, boy.
Oh.
We're going to call them that. Somebody make a meme from a closed down crew.
Yeah.
Good night, you're alive with Marsha Walker.
Good night, Fire Lady.
Good night.
And how are you? You had a clone of yourself, Angie. She was smoking today.
Yes, listen. Kamala know how to pick woman, you know. A strong woman gonna know how to pick strong woman. Is only fiery woman in UNC.
All right.
Like Cocky say what?
Show me that, team boy.
Cocky, you ready first, boy?
Yeah, Cocky, sorry about that, boy.
Yes.
Listen to me. I was listening to Angie and the passion she had about this barrier industrial media. 4 guys. You know, we have a population that possibly doesn't care, you know. Because remember when Black Lives Matter, where they went? They went and protested in front of the U.S. Embassy. Anybody make a motorcade or a march to go and protest in front of the diplomatic center? I mean to say, we said Rowley, not Rowley, Manning identified the problem with Rowley. But Manning is the cause of Rowley. He had one opportunity to put him out of the political life, and he didn't do it. When was the time to go up for election? That was the time to stamp him out. But what I haven't been hearing, and this is my assertion, when the man came in from Qatar, seeing the leader of a terrorist sanctioned country.
But it's Trinidad he self-signed sanctions.
But no, what I'm saying, when he came in, he avoided the press conference.
He did.
And a set of things was happening down in Paria. That is the same timeline. Our best friend and girlfriend partner was involved. Do you not believe that there would have been some communication?
Of course.
So he might have been participating in the decision-making process.
Well, he should answer that question. It's definitely a question to be asked. Definitely a question to be asked.
Nobody's seen that. He has to be, because every time he's a friend.
Make sure and ask the question, You know, them like to sue for scandal and all kind of thing. Make sure and say alleged and ask questions. I want to protect you.
I don't call names and things, but everybody not talking about the vaccine vagrant.
Oh, Lossie.
You understand? So that is a critical thing, and everybody trying to leave him out. But once he's a friend, a family, and a good friend, you remember that?
Yeah, well, he protected golfers more than divers.
Right, but that, look at my analysis. One simple big lie in Parliament caused all of these things to happen. And you know who made that big lie in Parliament? A fella by the name of Frankie. When he say AV pumping oil for 4,000 barrels. And then they had to defend that lie left, right, and center. Look what it led to. It led to the closure of Petrotin. It led to new management who was industrial murder. You understand? That is what I think about it. He has to be part of that decision making, because if your best friend is the man in charge, you bound to let him know. You go say, boss, and they're talking like thing, boss, what do you think we should do there? And he might have said, only make the call. And if we tell them make the call, he's culpable with it too, because based on what he's saying, they took action. And I hope they have him done to call him in the inquiry. You know?
Well, if we could ever get the inquiry started.
Yeah, because I believe, as a member I tell all the sleepers, they're doing everything to mash it up. Everything.
But that's all right.
to mash
UNC lawyers fighting it in the courts, in the
Yeah,
private
I
courts.
I know.
Thank God for UNC lawyers. Everybody else will forget, but UNC wouldn't forget. Don't worry.
Yeah, because they're doing everything. Because remember when that will be all kind of civil action and thing, but we want the criminal part of it. Only the DPP and the police could do it.
True.
And the police doing interim investigation. You understand? These people who are dependent for OSHA only have people on 1-month contract, so that is dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And when you have DTP dismissing a misbehavior charge so quickly, you want to know if the dog whistle is heard. Because remember the man say a dog whistle, all you're moving to slow. Look how quick this thing happened with the big lady. You want to know, and you have a Clico report that's sitting down as toilet paper. This potential commissioner inquiry for Paria might be the second roll of double ply right there, because the people, you know what I have not heard from the DPP office as yet, and they haven't made a call on it. Guess what? The email gate. You remember the two police commissioners say there's no substance, but the DPP never closed it off. I want to hear from him. I find it too silent. He's sleeping out. And you know when I say sleeping, I mean, if he's one of them acting on the instruction and waiting for the whistle.
Yes.
You understand? I'm going to have a nice night.
You too. Yeah, of course. I knew we were getting some calls. I am very sorry. You know, I'm trying to make sure, somebody will call and say, give everybody a time. Good night. You're live with Marsha Walker.
Yes, Walker. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
How are you doing?
I am fine, thank you.
Right. I listen very intensely to Rudy in that thing. And I believe everything we tell it is true. Because Mr. Pandy even carried me in the parliament to talk to Manning and all them. But them fellas didn't make up their mind and close it on Carney. Right? Just that he talk about, they didn't want that because they people making juice. Right? No. I had suggested they could have raised the sugar 25 cents a pound on the domestic market. Nobody would object to that. But still, they might have go against that because they make up their mind they're closing it down.
Well, that's how it is. Isn't that the same thing with Petrotrin?
Yeah.
When the reports came and said, don't shut it down.
And they shut it down.
They shut it down when they make up their mind. All these things are just, when you put out an ad, but you know very well who it is you're going with anyway, but you just had to do that to comfort fools.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is why I always say, in battle, you don't beg. So going to them and telling them you can't close it down because of this and that. They've been taking you on. Unfortunately, you should have a good lawyer to put them in the court. A man like the renowned Carl Hudson Phillips. Nobody could go against here, no? You know that. He would have made them spit out the bit. And Carney might have been wrong today. I don't know if you remember the case of Dan Rad Singh.
No, I'm not sure, no.
He couldn't even get a hearing in the court. That was a UNC man, they call him the cowboy.
Okay.
And they frame him up from there. And he couldn't even get a hearing. I mean, his wife said Carl Hudson for take the case. In 2 weeks, the court granted him a hearing, and he won the case for the boy. When you're going in the court, you have to go with the best.
I hear you.
Carl was the best.
Yes.
You understand? Nobody can argue that. And you might have take the case for the Carney workers.
I will raise that with the MP when I interview him.
Yeah,
so that I could
ask
find
him.
out about it. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Good night. You are live with Marsha Walker.
Hello, good night.
Yes, good night.
The Corky?
Yes,
Is
I'm
Corky
right.
there?
I'm right here.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good night, sir. I listened to Rudy in nursing, and he used some words when he was talking about Lenny Seat and what it did, what he told him about young people in Iranzi and things. Remember that just now?
Mm-hmm.
I want to know who was stopping Rudy in nursing from saying that on a platform. Well, if he didn't say it,
But he did. He
go
did.
ahead and start to say it.
No, he did. Remember. So okay. So what he just said here. What he just said in this interview, right?
Uh-huh.
He gave a speech on Monday Night Forum. So actually, most of the people like when I had Senator Sean Sobers last week, right?
No, he said something there tonight, and it's the first time I hear it too, and he said this is things, and I'm going to quote him, he said this is things people don't know about Caroni. And he mentioned Lenny Seat.
But he said he also said I said this on a Monday Night Forum. So many times,
All right.
yeah. So many times,
Okay,
what
then.
I do is I listen to them on the Monday Night Forum.
Play back the tape, but I will tell you something. What they do with Caroni Limited, when they take over from Theatre Lyle in 1975, they made the company top heavy. The same thing they do with Paria. You know, Marsha, I am sure you know what is George Newman's salary. It's the same thing that put people don't know nothing about Kane in the office, give them Caroni house,
right?
Give them money for car, for phone, for gas, and pay them over $100,000 a month. Oh, you expect the company to make money? The same thing they do with Wassa. They overcrowd Wassa with their PNM supporters.
Yeah.
And the same thing they do with TNTech, and they blaming everybody except themselves, TSCT.
Yeah.
And the docs, they do all that, them same thing, because once you give them finance to fight election, they have to find a place for you when they win, you know. And they don't care where they put you. So when they were saying Caroni, they were propping up Caroni Limited. Caroni was breaking a Nile after 1975. You know what is a Nile? Marsha?
No, tell me, what's a Nile?
That's when you go in a gamble and a man casa and he come out the winner. And the rest of people, they break a Nile. Nobody wins.
Okay.
So the profit that Caroni was making was used to pay what the people that PNM send there, the overhead expenditure, over 20 million a month when they check all of them salary. One of the house, the foreign affairs minister, not foreign affairs, what's his name? Gopi Schoon. She didn't want to come out to a Caroni house. The thing is people easy, Marsha. And the next thing I want to tell you before I go, I want to tell Ramdeen, you see that the board, remember the board, Ramdeen and them have a case with the 4 fellas that died in this pipe against the board, not Trinidad and Tobago. And I am asking the board, if all have shame, don't use Trinidad and Tobago money to fight other case. Use on their own. It's all they give the orders, not Trinidad and Tobago money. Have a nice night, Marsha.
Yes. Good night. Thank you. Didn't you choose? Oh, no, I was reading a comment. Here, but I'm not going to read that. I wouldn't read it out loud. You know what I wanted to make sure and say, Corky, I have a note here. We have to congratulate all the SEA students.
Yes.
They sat SEA yesterday.
Okay.
You know, I don't like all this SEA and thing. I find that's too much stress at a young age. So kudos to y'all, because I couldn't do it. Yes. Good night. You are live with Marsha Walker.
Blessed night to Marsha Walker and to Mr. Corky. See this, these 4 guys who die in that pipeline. When you're studying that, when you have an emergency in an accident or a fire, look at how much backup just come up.
I'm glad you raised that.
Look at, you know what I studied, Marsha? I asked him this question. Did these fellas know when them tank was filling with oil and water and they shut them out of the hole? I'm asking that question. You have backup there. Is an emergency and you couldn't send down more divers? One man come up to, and you're blackmailing me, boy. I, the boss here, don't do me that. We have a pipeline to go down in. And you shut out my life? Things is,
this is not an easy thing. And you see, we just go back too much in time. You see, when people go up to vote, when the 1 hour when Mrs. Kamlet carried that matter to court, that 1 hour, the judge said it was wrong. You know what you could do in 1 hour? Full up van and take out boxes and change it? Where that judge go on today? From a judge to the appeal, acting Chief Justice. You see how this country has so much of corruption, Marsha? And you know one thing you said again, Miss Marsha? 320,000 votes, and we get 309,000 votes. Mrs. Kamla passed this election going there. She never lost it, you know.
No.
You go back and check library.
Well, I actually have that to set the record straight. I literally, I'm with my camera. I actually have the I have the graph up right here, literally, because I wanted to raise that, but I know I did promise to open the phone lines.
Marsha is an intelligent girl, and if people follow you in the West, I wish I could meet you person to person.
Well,
And
just come, man. You tell me when.
Yes, make a little contact.
In fact, what
All
you
right.
should do, we have Covine pigeon peas, so we're gonna talk about that in the last half an hour.
All right.
We having
Yeah,
we having a
let's-
festival in Diego Martin this weekend, so all
I
of y'all
come
need to
Diego
come down
Martin.
and good. Well,
Martin.
good. So I'm seeing you this weekend then, because I'm listen out for the information for this
All right.
weekend.
Okay, you have a blessed and a wonderful night.
You
Somebody is
too.
here for you again.
Okay,
Bless
thank you. Yes. Right. So we were talking about. Okay, because I know we have to take a call at 8:30. Right. So we have to take a call at 8:30. But before we go onto that call,
Yes.
I wanted to go back because you know I like to stick in all my information. I like to give knowledge is power, Corky. Knowledge is power.
Oh, yes.
Those who speak about, you know, for the country, etc., 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 and I have to call them the anti-Kamla gang, right? We need to understand that PNM has had an opportunity to build as an organization, right? And they build because when Amory Brown wasn't chosen. And I mean, I look at that Amory Brown situation, and I found that was just distasteful of PNM. Amory Brown was a good MP, but whatever happened, Rowley don't want nobody on the arm. He didn't want any Manning people. Anybody who was on Manning's slate get dropped. And then you put Daryl Smith, who turned out to be, well, grabby wabby has to be the best word ever. You know, you all know I don't call names like that and thing, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, Daryl Smith was an absolute disgrace. And you removed Amory Brown for Daryl Smith, right? So I think that was a big disrespect to PNM supporters in Diego Martin Central. But Amory Brown did not mount a anti-Rowley platform. He didn't come and try to tear down Rowley. Because what he understood was that tearing down Rowley on a public platform like that tears down the party on a whole. And it's not that I believe in blind loyalty to any party. I don't believe in that. But as someone who is working very hard in Diego Martin West, when you do something that undermines the party, you may be thinking that, well, your focus is really on Kamla. And, well, Marsha, we're not nothing against you, you know. And I've been told that. I've been told that by so many different slates, right? You know, we respect you. You go have a spot anywhere. But that's not the issue. That's not the issue. What you fail to understand is that when you think you undermine Kamla, you undermine every one of us. And that is why, you know, Jayanti said it on the platform on TNT Speaks last week, Thursday. I said it last week, Friday. When you attack one, you attack all. Because you undermine UNC. So you put more pressure on me in Diego Martin West because I fight in a battle. I have a battle on my hands. I'm not in a safe seat. So when you think that you fight in Kamla, you are making Marsha's work harder. That's whose work you're making harder. Marsha's work harder. right? So it's a almost like a very narrow-minded way of thinking when you think, well, we're not attacking Olia, we're attacking Kamla, because but you're attacking UNC. That's what you're doing, and you're making the work that we are working on the ground very difficult. Corky, my husband is a contractor, and he is told he can't get no work. Your wife went up against Rowley and you expect to get work?
No work for you.
No work for you, right? We have sacrificed so much for change. For change, we have sacrificed. We have said it is worth it. It's worth laying our very lives down for our citizens because we love our citizens, we love our country. When you do this, it's not Kamla you're hurting. I mean, you're hurting the whole of UNC. You're hurting every single one of us who are working our butts off on the ground. That's who you're hurting. That is who you are hurting. So I am calling on all of you to come and build the party. Build the party. You don't want to work with Kamla? Well, come and work in Diego Martin West, because I'm telling you, I have real work to do. I need a team. I need a team. People talk about, they frontline politics. There's more to frontline politics. Let me tell you something simple. Fire Fridays, after we do, like, all right, we just had Rude MP embarrassing on the show. We could cut that clip off, put it on, all the little bits of information. We need graphics. Look at how many people talk and are not aware of what the different MPs and stuff say on Monday Night Forum, on TNT Speaks, or when they're doing work in their constituency. MP Ram right now, he is championing a case. There's so many cases, but everybody wants to give us the advice and say, well, you know what needs to be done, what needs to be done, what needs to be done. Understand that it takes hands on deck to get it done. And plenty of people like to say, but they don't listen. No, I would not listen to the ideas if all you could do is bring ideas, but don't bring your hands. Because it's easy to stand up and say, well, Marsha, you should really do this, and Marsha, you should really do that, and Kamla, you should do that, and the MP should do this, and this one should do that, and that one should do that. But who's funding it? Who's giving the time? We only have 24 hours a day. So, and then you come and say, well, I don't want to do that because my specialty is this. Yes. That is not how help works. And I want to give a story about how help works. What is true leadership? Because you have to be able to serve before you can lead. You have to be able to sacrificially serve before you could lead. When I was captain of my hockey team, Corky, I will remember it clearly. I was a very young captain. And we went to play in, well, what it would have been Princess Elizabeth. That's where Napa is now. And that's where hockey, we used to play on the grass and stuff. And back then, I was a striker. So I'm small, right? I was very, very fast and smally. I was real skinny. When we got there, they had no goalkeeper. Because goalkeepers, female goalkeepers in hockey is like a dime a dozen, right? Yes. Nobody wanted to put on the pads, Corky. Nobody wanted to put on the pads. As the captain of the team, as the leader of the team, who had to put on the pads, Corky? who you think should put on the pads? Yeah. Me. Right. I got in the goal and I did what was necessary. Now, I never came out of the goal because then nobody ever wants to put on the pads. And, people said I was good, etc., etc. Now, had I stayed as a striker, I probably would have gotten a hockey scholarship because, again, my size and everything. When you get to the States and then the first thing they ask is your size. It don't matter how good you is, your size. You're not tall enough to be, that's why with my daughter, when they hit 8 years old, the first thing they do is, yes, rope her in because of her size. She built her size, so you could train, you could teach somebody the skill. But you can't make me bigger than I am. And when somebody's massive in a goal, obviously it's going to be so much easier than when they're tiny in a goal, right? Yeah. So that is what I mean by that sacrificial leadership. This is what the team needs. So it doesn't matter whether, well, I's an engineer, you know, or I's an economist, you know, so I don't really want to sit down and do memes all day. But what we constantly hear is that, and communication is key, right? You look at marketing. Corky, you in radio and stuff.
Yes.
How many times do we have to play an ad? All the time, all the time, right?
Played,
so
yes.
it cannot be. So and that is why every opportunity our MPs have, our senators, our activists, our councillors, everybody, they're always talking because somebody will still not hear it. That's why every week, every you all have to be playing these ads because repetitive marketing is how it works. Communication, that's how it works. So so when people say, you know, well, you all need to say it, we are saying it. But what we need now is a team who would be willing to drop down to a different level now. Because, you know, everybody want to be, well, no, I beg, I should be in the Senate. Or I beg, I should be in a safe seat. Everybody has what they should be now. Rather than, what do you need? What do you need? And it's not about, well, you're better than that. If this is what we need, then come and serve in the capacity that's needed. This is where it's needed. Right? That's a call in Diego Martin West. I telling you all, communication is needed because I'm out there talking. But a lot of people are not going to tune in for 3 hours. The young people need a 1-minute Instagram clip. So somebody has to sit down and find the 1-minute fire clip to pull out from tonight and put it on Instagram. Right? Somebody had to go out there and sign up membership forms. Somebody had to pull out this interview with setting the Caroni record straight and put it. Somebody had to design the infographics, right? Somebody had to do research. There's so many different things. Somebody had to fundraise. There are things that need to be done. And if you feel, well, I being underutilized because look how good I supposed to be in the Senate, then you've missed the whole point and you really ought not to be in politics. You've missed the whole point and you ought not to be in politics. Because you need to come down to the level of what is needed. What is needed? That is what helping is. What do you need? What do you need? And it's not about, well, I's a big shot. It really isn't that. And we need those who claim to love the country. If you love the country, what you need to understand is that Keith Rowley is a cancer. And MP Indara Singh just said it. You can look at the PNM track record from Eric Williams go down. The PNM has to go. They have to go. And that is why it is in the PNM's interest to always have a third party here, a division there, a this there, a that there. No. Everybody has a role inside of the party. Everybody has a role, and your role is not more important than somebody else's role. And you know, it's that kind of, you know, the CEO versus the garbage man attitude. Well, you can't go down to that. But the day the CEO garbage not collected, you go see how important the garbage man isn't. Everybody has a role, and everybody's role is important. And if you had to drive the garbage truck today, you had to drive the garbage truck today. The two bosses I work for in my life, both actually, believe it or not, drove and did those kinds of tasks even when they were owners of the company. Because when you have a vested interest in something, you do what is needed, not what you think is above you and below you and all kind of nonsense. You do what is needed. So I implore you guys, build up the party. Build up the party. And this talk. I support you. We need tangible support. Everybody have ideas and they will say, Kamala listening to the ideas, Marsha listening to the ideas. No, because somebody had to implement the ideas. Somebody has to implement the ideas. So unless you are prepared to bring your team and implement the ideas, well, thanks for the ideas, but it may not be that it's not a good idea. I just do not have the hands on deck to implement it. And these are the things. Do we really want change? Angie said it today. We failed those divers. Because all of us have lip service. Put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is. Put your time where your mouth is. Put your family where your mouth is. These things cost. They cost emotions. They cost time. They cost families. They cost relationships. They cost so much. We want change. We have got to unite and just say, what do you need? And then do it. And then be dependable and do it. That's how we will build a UNC. We ain't building no coalition. We building a UNC. PNM don't partner with nobody. Come and build the UNC. Come and build the UNC. Come and build the UNC. When you bad talk the leadership of the UNC, you bad talk those on the ground. You make those on the ground. You make our jobs harder. I am telling you, this is what is happening. You gonna come and tell me what happening with me inside at Diego Martin. The more you bad talk Kamala, the more you are making it hard for Marsha. So don't come and say, well, you ain't have no problems with Marsha. Your problem is with Kamala. If you attack Kamala, you attack Marsha indirectly. And maybe you're not seeing it. So I'm saying it to you directly. I am saying it in clear terms. The more you attack the leadership of the UNC, you attack the soldiers of the UNC because we are working really hard and you are making our job harder. So anytime you think that I ought not to have a problem with you and you think I defending Kamala, partner, I defending my own self. So it is not about blind loyalty to Kamala. There's loyalty to myself, because the more that you fight against the leadership of the party, you make my job in Diego Martin West harder. And we have sacrificed, Marsha Walker, I have sacrificed too much. Too much. Come and fight inside the party. Come and fight inside the party. See what I had to say inside the party. We're going to cuss up each other inside the party. Come and build inside the party. I am asking you. Have a conversation with those who are the soldiers on the ground and say, when I do this, how does it impact your work, the work you are doing? Because I am telling you, you are making my job harder. You are. Please stop it. Come and build inside the party. Come and build inside the party. Please. It's 11:37. Corky, you have a last telephone number to call for me. Yes. Hold on. I'll find the number here. Right, so we're gonna go over to Diego Martin West shortly, right? I should have given you that number so you'd have been calling while I was I was on my rant. So while he's talking, I'm going to, because people talk about Kamala lose election, Kamala lose election, Kamala lose election. There is a strategy. Sometimes you have to lose a victory, one little battle, to win the big war. And I was just talking about building UNC, and PNM has had the time to build and whatnot. Kamala Persad-Bissessor took a decision to go on her own, not a coalition. And people go, you can't beat PNM on a coalition, you can't beat PNM on a coalition. But I just give all of the numbers. I have given you all the numbers in Diego Martin West, 29,000, and only 10,000 is PNM. There is 19,000 votes up for grabs. So don't tell me I could only beat PNM with a coalition. No, UNC must have confidence in UNC. UNC must have confidence that we work hard, we do the work, we will be successful. We will be successful, but we have to build the party. So let's talk progress. Let us talk about the progress. The UNC got the most votes ever in their history in the 2020 general election. That's progress. On its own, it was not a people's partnership. The UNC, the United National Congress, as a party under the leadership of Kamala Persad-Bissessor, got the most votes in their history in the 2020 general election. The UNC took an extra seat, and the PNM lost one. That is progress. That is the progress. That's the trajectory. That's growth. Right? the UNC got more votes in Trinidad than in PNM.
Yes.
Right? We spoke about that before. Again, progress. The PNM lost thousands of votes compared to 2015, and the UNC gained votes. So again, you're seeing that the PNM is on a decline, which they should be, because they have taken the country down. So we want them to go down faster than the country. We don't want them to go down in tandem. But the UNC is rising as a party because, again, a UNC government would be able to do more than a coalition government. A coalition government will still do more than PNM because we've proven that. But what Kamla's vision for this country is unstoppable. So we need to build UNC, and UNC as a party must win by themselves. So that is the progress. In January 2021, so now after general elections, in January 2021, the UNC took Arima Central for the first time in history while it defended its 2 other local government seats. So you see that thing about Tego Martin is a lost cause? Well, somebody would have said Arima Central is a lost cause too, but the UNC took that seat in January. First time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. And they didn't lose their seats. They kept their seats and they won a PNM so-called safe seat. And let me tell you, Arima Central is not a marginal. It was held by the PNM mayor and a sitting minister. And they campaigned hard for that seat. The mayor and the sitting minister, Koki,
yes,
and UNC under Kamla Persad-Bissessor took that seat. Progress.
Yeah.
Take the time. This is not a race for the swiftest. Patience. You know the fruit of the Spirit, one of the fruits of the Spirit is long suffering, which some translations say patience. But in Greek, it really translates to long suffering. Because a lot of times, patience doesn't really explain the true sacrifice as the word long suffering. Long suffering means to suffer long. Suffer long for the prize. So if we love Trinidad, suffer long and build on a strong, firm foundation. That is what Kamla Persad-Bissessor is doing. Right? In 2021, the PNM lost Tobago twice. And it was almost a complete shutout in December, even after all the gerrymandering. And if you all feel that that had to do with PDP alone, you lie. Because it's UNC that exposed every scandal. It's UNC that been asking the questions, the hard questions. When you all see articles come out in the newspaper, you all have to remember that those articles come out in the newspaper. Why? Because an opposition senator or opposition MP would have asked that question inside of the parliament. And that's how the reporters, etc., would have the information to be able to put it out there. If the UNC don't ask questions, you know the government ain't coming to bring no information. Look at the NIB report and stuff. How it is we found out how many people were unemployed. Kamla had to threaten to take them to court for them to just simply be accountable. Why they can't just be accountable? Why we start to threaten court and all kind of thing? That's the opposition working. So when you think that PDP won, do not underestimate the fight on the ground that the UNC and the opposition that they are doing to change the national conversation. And in case you all forgot, Trinidad and Tobago is the national conversation. The UNC under Kamla Persad-Bissessor created that win. They set the foundation for that win. So please, the furthest thing from the truth is that our leadership and whatever, we are so strong right now. I've just given you data, facts. Stop, forget the propaganda. Forget the propaganda and go with facts. These are the facts, undisputed facts of the matter. UNC is stronger than ever right now. And I know all you need to know is a winning train. So take the numbers and jump on the winning train. Talking about that, Diego Martin West right now is on a membership drive. Call me, contact me. We're doing cottage meetings like crazy. You have a group of 5 people, bring them to your home, bring them wherever. We go meet in the panyard, wherever. Right? Get on board with the UNC. 19,000. In fact, let me tell you, I don't even want to beat Rowley with 11,000, you know. 19,000 people must come out under UNC and vote for Marsha Walker and get rid of Keith Rowley in Diego Martin West and get rid of Keith Rowley in as the Prime Minister and get rid of PNM. 19,000 of y'all. Right? Y'all are powerful. The non-voters are powerful in Diego Martin West. We are on a membership drive. Call me. And after you sign up membership, go and find 5 friends to sign up membership too. And then get them to sign. If everybody signed up 5 people, again, y'all talking about how to get involved. That's how to get involved. Get 5 friends to sign up. That's how we get involved. Get 5 friends together and I will come and meet and talk and answer your questions. Right now, our virtual office open how long now, Corky? Must be not even a month, 2 months maybe. And we have solved so many leaks and water issues. We had a family in Carenage, a main burst, and was eroding the foundation. Since last year, they up and down getting a run around. I told him, listen, look, there's the cell phone number for the councillor. I would rather you give her a chance first before I load her up. Right? He messaged. You know, she do what she do. The councillor didn't think to follow up with him, right? Because may I know if they don't care or if they're just inefficient, but I don't know if you all know that my corporate experience was in sales. That's how I made my name before I became senior management. And you know the way for customer service, you know, sales is driven by service. Your sales, it just rises and rises. And I used to have a spreadsheet. So I know this person had an issue, so I have a date to check up on them. That's customer service. So I don't need to wait for my constituent to come and say, hey, it didn't get fixed yet, you know. I reaching out to him first. And she, the councillor, should have reached out to him first, but she didn't. So when I say, hey, how it going? Did you get through? No, I ain't get through yet. I say, all right. Last chance. Just send her a message and follow up with her. Nothing again. I call up my UNC people. We have a shadow local government minister. We have some MPs who are lawyers. We have aldermen, councillors, all of them, everybody who send number, who everything, and say, right, come, let me get it done. I did that on Thursday, last week, Thursday, I done that. Do you know, I got a message Monday. It fixed, the leak fix. The leak fix. Imagine a PNM councillor in a PNM corporation with a PNM chairman and everything. It's a PNM corporation. There's not no UNC corporation. It's a PNM corporation. With a PNM MP who happens to be the Prime Minister. You have everything going for you. As a PNM minister, a PNM line minister, a PNM chairman, a PNM corporation, a PNM councillor, a PNM everything. But I had a guide fix. And I didn't even use the media this time. I did not even use the media this time to blast them. But UNC MPs come together, UNC councillors and everything, they came together. And they say, right, they make some phone calls, etc., and they got it done. You see that hashtag UNC works? That's not just social media marketing hashtag because we think so, you know. UNC works. Imagine that I could call Khadija Amin to help me and call Arnold Ram to help me get it done and to call Arnold Baliram to get it done. These are people, they have their own offices. They don't have ministers. They don't have ministerial positions. They're not in government. Diego Martin West, imagine if they thought, well, that's a P&M safe seat, leave them there. Because that's how UNC does operate. UNC ain't thinking, well, and they vote for P&M, leave them with that. That's not how they operated. That is not how they operated. You know what? That person didn't even sign a membership form. Nothing. Me not ask for no vote. Because that's not how UNC operates. It didn't matter that polling division that family comes from is a strong P&M polling division. So that polling division, not even, that street is not even a swing street. That's a P&M street. But your message and they needed help. That is UNC. So don't come and say P&M, UNC, the same thing. We are not the same thing. Kamla Prasad Bissessa and UNC have always fought for the benefit of Trinidad and Tobago. They don't just fight for P&M. They don't ask you to see a party card before they decide whether they get a hamper or not. You know how much P&M people get hamper from me for Christmas? You know how much P&M people? Every single leak that I fix, okay, I lie, because Glencoe technically is a swing seat. I fix Glencoe too. La Puerta is one of the strongest P&M seats that they have. The youths in La Puerta get real victimized when they walk with me for government general elections. But what P&M could not fix in 6 years, they had a leak there for 6 years. I come and fix in a month. Me and ask them, who you vote for? Me and tell them, you see, look, all they're voting for P&M, always a strong P&M seat. Because that is not how UNC operates. That is not how Kamla Prasad Bissessa taught us to operate. She don't come and say, Bama, she real stupid boy. You using all my resources. You calling up all my MPs and for P&M strong seat. You ain't even working in safe seat in swing streets and thing. She don't do that. That's not how it works. Somebody calls you, fix it. A citizen of Trinidad is in need, fix it. Find a way to fix it. And you know, she said it a few times well on the platform on Monday night. When she tells Keith Rowley, I don't want to hear your excuses. I remember she told me that once. Marsha, I don't want to hear your stories, you know. Well, it feels cheesy. Right? Strong woman. She's built up our political muscles, you know. And that's why I like her, because it's like a mother vibe. Because my daughters get level buff, but it's level love, right? A strong mother. And she tell Kit the other day, I don't want to hear that you know what the reason for I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear that you know what causing it. Fix it. Stop blaming me and fix it. Put your head down and fix it. And that's the same way she talks. That's the same mandate that we have. Fix the people's problems. Fix the people's problems. And I hear that now, and every time I talk to people who served under her in 2010, etc., it's always the same thing you hear. Fix the people's problems. Find a way to fix the people's problems. UNC P&M is not the same thing. No way, no how. UNC is not the same thing. I'm noticing we cannot get through to Mr. Joseph right now. So I'm going to just tell you guys about it. And it's so unfortunate that, gosh, try one more time, Corky. Just one more time before we, I know we have to go soon. So, because Mr. Joseph is so sweet. Quick, yeah, Corky.
Sweet.
Yes, oh gosh, and I had such a great conversation with him. Right. Should I keep talking? Yes. I had such a great conversation with Mr. Joseph on the phone. So, we have something in Covine, which is in Diego Martin West. So you'll come down to Diego Martin West, right? Come into my territory this weekend. It's called, it's a mini Pigeon Peas Festival. It's Saturday 2nd and Sunday 3rd of April. $20 admission. And the venue is St. John Parish Hall, Church Street, Diego Martin. We have curbside available. You have it's open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. All Pigeon Peas products on sale. They'll have ice cream, doubles. I want to know if there's Pigeon Peas ice cream too. So they have ice cream, doubles, bread, kurma, soup, foods and treats, much more. All COVID-19 protocols must be maintained, so they're reminding you to wear your mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. For more information, also to order your lunch tickets and whatnot, call 757-0739. 757-0739. And again, this is Upper Cemetery Street Residents Association presents the Mini Pigeon Peas Festival, which is this Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. Hey, I hear Mr. Joseph on the phone. Is he there? Mr. Joseph, how are you, my love?
Yeah, Marsha.
How are you?
Yes. Quickly, what else?
Oh, no.
Dr.
This is
Rowley
not
said,
Mr. Joseph. Oh, gosh, we took a call. Okay, so I have to ask you. I will try to call you. I will try to take the call later, right? Because we have to. We would have. That may have hung up. Oh gosh. All right, let's try Mr. Joseph one last time. He's such a sweetheart. I know. We're not taking calls right now, guys. Please, we're not taking calls right now because we want to be able to. We're taking the guys right now. Don't call because we want to take the calls. We want to get through to Mr. Joseph, and if you call, you'll interrupt. You'll. Okay, let's get. Yes. One more time. So come down to Diego Martin West. Come into my constituency this weekend, and I will have membership forms on me as well. So if you're from Diego Martin West, come and sign up. Come and say hi. If you didn't want to sign up, just come and say hi anyway and say, listen, I'm from Diego Martin West. I might try to get your number to add you to my broadcast list. Because listen, if you're not on my broadcast list, if I have an Easter egg hunt or giving away hampers or anything, how are you going to find out? You had to be you had to at least be registered on. Being registered don't mean you're voting, right? It don't mean you're voting for me. But at least you'll get to find out what is going on when I'm in the area, when I'm having a cottage meeting, when I'm handing out a hamper. And if you need a job, we had someone, again, through the virtual office, send a CV. And within 2 days of sending a CV, they were offered, an interview for the job. Right? We have people, and I always say Diego Martin West is about bridging the gap. So we have a lot of business people in Diego Martin West. So they may not be able, to fix all the roads and everything because we're not in power. But what we can do is network. So somebody may have a job vacancy while somebody is actually looking for a job. So we network. So come on board, join the database. So that way if I know, okay, look, somebody looking for a mason, and I actually know a contractor who looking for a mason, and then I know a mason who looking for a job, I could bridge that gap and put one together with the other. That's the creativity that people in the United National Congress have. All right, so we've lost Mr. Joseph. So we'll take the one. Now you guys could call, fine. We'll take maybe 1 or 2 more calls because I see it's 8:57. Yes, I just wanted to make sure and get that information out there. Come to Diego Martin West Saturday, Sunday, St. John Parish Hall, Church Street, Diego Martin. Good night, you are live with Marsha Walker.
Yeah, Marsha Walker. But remember, our leader told us we are stupid, but we wanted to let them we are not fools. And even the former Prime Minister years ago, and he tell them money is no problem. Look at the situation today. Listen, look how the people, they believe in what he told them money is no problem. Now they're facing a serious price and telling the people and everybody that money is a problem to help us survive. They are lost in the wilderness. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Right? So let me, you know what I'm gonna do? I should say it all the time, I don't know if I've lost my live, so I'm not sure if the number is passing through the screen. Good night, you are live with Marsha Walker. Hello?
Yeah, good night, Marsha. Okay, I would like to say something, Marsha. I don't know what's going on with this government, right? But
Nobody.
This government take out $50 from my business, what I just get, right? And that is real stupidness that is going on. That is robbery. Robbing the poor people.
Yep. Well, all the hampers, everything they want to stop, everything they're stopping.
And food card and everything. That's why he encouraging the crime. He's encouraging the crime And that's why young boys doing them crimes.
Well, listen,
because of the Prime Minister
and they can't even get
causing
an education. They can't get access online schooling. For 2 years now, the gang's licking them up.
Everything is cutting up.
Mashing up, mashing up.
What
Yeah.
they what his pocket full already. So
Mashing
he
up.
don't care. The Prime Minister don't care, Marsha, about the poor people, right? Because his pocket full already.
Yes. All
I
right.
am sorry to say it, Marsha, but I have a right to talk. Right? So I thank you very much, Marsha.
Oh gosh, I'll lose you. She did. Oh, she hung up. Oh gosh, thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Guys, join the database. Again, you don't necessarily need to sign up a membership just yet. I might tongue you down eventually. Yeah, I know. But join the database so that what we can do, as I said, we can start to partner. If you have a job and somebody's looking for employees, etc. 399-5561. You send a WhatsApp message with your name and your date of birth. That's all you have to do to join our database. It'll cost nothing. 399-5561. It's WhatsApp only. You know, Gary Griffith hotline numbers was WhatsApp only. 399-5561. Send a message, your name, your full name, and your date of birth. That's all you need to do. And say, Marsha, I want to join your database. Right? And then, well, we go take it from there. If it is that you need a job, whatever it is, or you're looking for an employee, you know, whatever, or you just want to be kept in the loop, so you know if we're having our Easter egg hunt or whatever, you're kept in the loop. That's it, guys. Another Friday has ended. See you next week for Fire Fridays.
Time has come. New 97.5